Well, he's got to get it to pitch if he wants some assistance. Dasun Shana catch very short extra cover. Waiting for the batsman to push slightly in front of that pad, and that's the area the ball might lob into.
And also keeping the mid-wicket vacant. The batsmen want to go towards mid-wicket, get the top edge, and be caught at probably caught in bowl or caught at short extra cover. For Aaron Finch, it's different. The short fine leg goes down to a short mid-wicket. That's Kusal Mendis.
He's looking to bowl a lot slower. Trying to say it's down to 81.5, 80.7. Those fielders in the circle must really creep in. The drop and run must not be an option.
Going with the arm that time by Wenderse. Only Finch wanted to play for the turn as Australia brings up their 50, the 12th over. Did watch Jeffrey Wenderse warming up before the game, and was trying to bowl much slower. Usually is quite quick through the air as well as off the pitch. Something that is trying to bring into the game.
You've got to make sure in trying to slow it down, not take the energy out of it. You still got to use your sides, you still got to drive through. Not, it makes it easier for the batsman to judge. Will not get the ball to dip. Dipping means suddenly tends to drop on the batsman, and that's when you can catch him napping or force him to make a mistake.
Just like the last delivery, there's a lot of reps on it. Over the years, been watching Jeffrey Wenderse for a long time, and he doesn't bowl well when confidence is down. That's where he doesn't follow through much and doesn't give that rip. That comes with the confidence factor. But nowadays, since he's been playing for a while, the domestic Sakcham, he's been in the limelight for a long time. End of the 12th, Australia 52 for 2. There plenty of support as usual at the Premdas Stadium. Skipper Finch and Abhishek batting for Australia. A couple of wickets down. Plenty of batting to come still. Carey, Head, Maxwell, Cameron Green, a player who was playing in the Sri Lanka Australia Ace one-day series, scored 100 in the first game.
.52 for 2 after 12. Mitch Marsh. The ball before he got out. Trying to get on the back foot, going on with the arm, and then the dismissal slightly fuller, slightly higher. The reason for Marsh also to come onto the front foot was it went slightly higher. Subtle changes, but all around that off stump, which means you have to play and keep making decisions.
Yeah, the line is quite close to the off stump, and we spoke about it on the up in this slowest pitch. The ball gets old, it's going to be tough work. But Mitchell Marsh, hard hands. It's to try, loves to hit those big shots. What's the downfall then?
Ball on a string, not giving it anything. Into his third over, just the 3 runs conceded by Wellalage. Real arm wrestle, that's what it's setting itself up for this game. I think Sri Lanka will try to keep Australia under 220. I think that's around the area they'll be comfortable chasing.
Yeah, Sri Lanka's generally, when it comes to chasing, have not got a good record comparing with defending. This time, bad delivery by Punitula down the leg side. Burst boundary after 36 deliveries. Jeffrey Wenderse, valiant effort at deep square leg, but that was asking to be swept with the arm down the leg side. And Finch, quite powerful, playing those sweep shots.
Brilliant, really brilliant from Finch, for the simple reason they haven't had anything to hit in a long while. You get something, You have to make it count. And he plays a very good shot, a nice controlled shot. Looking assured. Finch 58 for 2.
That bound is following the good over bowled by Vellalage. Bowling for Sri Lanka so far. 5 bowlers being used still. Skipper Shanaka got the luxury of using Dhananjay De Silva and himself as on Shanaka. Plenty of spin. They got part-time of Charita Solanki if needed as well. So a decent start by Sri Lanka after the first 10 overs was dominated by Australia. Jeffrey Van der Sar to continue. Went to 4 runs in the first over. Puller this time. Oh, searching for it. Labuschagne going far, probably over, trying to go extra cover. Slowness of that delivery. Got the top edge and landed nowhere.
Making him fetch it. Swepson's not playing for Australia today. Made 3 changes. Steve Smith is more a forced change. Mitch Marsh is back in. He's dismissed already. Pat Cummins is sitting out. Jai Richardson is back in. And Cameron Green is an all-rounder. Full seam up. He comes in for Mitch Swepson. Just the one change for Sri Lanka. Groin injury to Danushka Gunatilaka forces him out. And Niroshan Dickwella, he's keeping wickets and will bat at the top of the order. It's always exciting when Dickwella is in the team for the simple reason you get to see Dickwella things.
Oh, yes.
Nicely clipped away. The googly by Labuschagne. Dickwella hasn't started these Dickwella things yet. Usually quite chirpy behind the stumps. And quiet. Just getting into the groove. Have not played ODI cricket for a while. Just played the 2 test matches in Bangladesh.
Went straight down. Wasn't really a chance. Vellalage carrying after that one.
That was a good chase and a good ball by Van der Sar. Straight going down, dying down. Dhananjay De Silva at first slip had no chance. This young man been energetic. We spoke about how a gun fielder is. He's been showing it even the last game. Took a brilliant catch.
6 runs off the 14th over. Australia are 64 for 2. Overs completed. Very good afternoon to everybody joining us. It's a
Hello, 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 hello,
Hello, hello,
hello,
hello, hello, hello, hello. Pikachu.
64 for 2. 14 overs completed. Very good afternoon to everybody joining us. It's a humid day at the R. Premadasa International Stadium.
hard to come by the Australians.
It broke that off-stump line. Tossing it up. Change of pace. Bearing it quite well.
The big wicket of Mitch Marsh, but some beautiful bowling, the subtle changes of pace. You didn't see much change in his action. It's got a little bit fuller and a little bit slower. Steve Marsh in flight, and in the end it was a simple catch to short cover. Doing a great job here, Sri Lanka. And Finch, 36, 45 balls, holding the Australians together.
Looking to try and strangle the Australians with spin. We've just seen 1 over from Chamika Karunaratne and then 3 from Chamira at the top. Been all spin since then. Sri Lanka has a lot of spin bowling options if they want to, plenty of hard timers. He's been drifting a little bit onto the pads in this over. Australia has been smart working it into gaps for singles.
Very good player, spin. Marnus, his strength is working around. He does play the sweep and reverse sweep, but one of his real strengths is getting off strike, not allowing the bowler to build dot ball pressure.
See that loop in Velala Gate. It's very tempting, isn't it?
Just trying to tempt Aaron Finch to go over cover. But this wicket just holding, it's a risk to take. We know he's strong over the offside.
End of the over. 15 gone, 68 for 2.
Wellagate is bowling a lot. Only a young man, but shown a lot of experience with the way he's flying the ball. It's in his second game. Nice subtle changes of pace.
So look at that Sri Lankan lineup. Not much experience in terms of bowling. Dushmantha Chameera with 42 games and Dhananjay De Silva with 59 games as bowlers. Vilalake just into his 3rd game. Karunaratne 16.
As a keeper, I like the inclusion of Dick Weller. He gives the team a lot of energy. We've already heard him over the stump mics right in the game, encouraging the Australian batsmen.
Oh, that turn, Manas Labuschagne played late. Just looked to play it off the pitch. Very lucky.
Very lucky there. He's gone back much. Caught a bit on the crease. Oh, just missed shading that off stump. Needs to get forward to that one, Marnus. Just reading that ball off the wicket.
It's not been an easy surface to bat on, I'll tell you. And that's why Sri Lanka need to watch this Australian score. Take a look at 2 balls ago, as you said. Labuschagne's feet going nowhere.
Just got caught in the crease. He tried to just play it close space in that gap in mid-wicket, but needs to go forward or back and give himself the best chance.
It's been a tough time for Jeffrey van der Say. He's into his 17th game, but has never had a continuous run. He's been in and out, so he's never been able to settle in. He's been under the shadow of Hasaranga. And it's opportunities like this that has come his way, where he needs to make the most of it.
He's very similar style. to see another dot ball, but well played from Aaron Finch to get to the other end. And that's the key at the moment. Australia needs to keep the scoreboard ticking, to keep rotating the strike.
The Lalaby continues into his 5th over. 1 for 12. He's been impressed. I've been impressed with him, the way he's been using the crease as well. He gets close to the stumps, that time going a little bit wider, holding it back. But look at the revs on the ball. And also, I think I saw a slight explosion there.
I've been watching him closely for the last couple of overs. Has been using the crease very well. And the other thing is, been changing his pace. Australia haven't been allowed to get a rhythm, but he's looking to take wickets. He's kept the slip in the whole time. Mid-on's up. He's trying to get the batsman to go over mid-on. But just look at this. Just takes a bit of the surface. Australian bowlers would have noticed that. So would have Aaron Finch. Just past that outside edge. Well taken by Dick Weller.
Sri Lanka continues to have a slip. They understand the opportunity of an outside edge. And also the fact that they need to maintain that attacking instinct. So you reckon 220 for Australia?
I think I'd want more than that. You'd want up around 250.
Leading edge, goodness. It was slowed down. And Labuschagne just a little bit early.
Well bowled there. Just look at this. Just gone slower, a bit higher. Labuschagne trying to work that through that. A lot of real estate there at mid-wicket. Got a leading edge. Well bowled.
Not afraid to throw it up. Come back for 2. If they're only a single. Quite pleased with singles. They don't want to get to the other end.
And that's been a feature of the Sri Lankans all series, is their fielding. The leading edge there from Marnus, lucky to fall short, but they've recognised the big moments in the field. They've worked hard. Every run's important here now to build pressure.
Oh, that ball, the one that comes in with the arm, going by to the crease. 2 runs off that over. Time for some drinks. Australia 74 for 2.
Flavor, flamboyancy, and aggression, end-to-end stuff. This feels like our football. The Ekasi Champ of Champs on Super Sport. Stay connected with DSTV.
Wednesdays are the new school sports weekends on Super Sports Schools Showcase. What's Super Sports Schools Showcase? Only the hottest, most lit and tossed amazing 3 matches from the school sports weekend coming to your screen. Every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. on channel 209, you can now experience the best on the World of Champions. So tune in to the Super Sports Schools Showcase and relive weekend sports on a Wednesday on the big screen. Super Sports Schools, it's time to shine.
We heard your whispers, exclamations and all the couch coaching. Now it's time to put your knowledge to the test with the Carling Champions match. This is your team, your tactics, your players. From your fullback to your wings, flanker, lock, prop and hooker. All your selections will square up against the Azzurri Italy A in a one-of-a-kind contest for the Carling Champions Cup trophy. Live and in HD on your World of Champions. Broadcast brought to you by Carling Black Label.
days of the new school sports weekends on Super Sports Schools Showcase. What's Super Sports Schools Showcase? Only the hottest, most lit and plus amazing 3 matches from the school sports weekend coming to your screen. Every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. on channel 209, you can now experience the best on the World of Champions. So tune in to the Super Sports Schools Showcase and relive weekend sports on a Wednesday on the big screen. Super Sports Schools, it's time to shine.
74 for 2, Finch on 38, Marnus Labuschagne on 11. Australia have lost 2 wickets. So lots of people are very thankful to the Australians for touring Sri Lanka. Well, if you're contemplating, no better place than Sri Lanka to come. Plenty of wildlife. Indeed, lovely scenery, the peacocks. Rest. It is a place of natural beauty, and I can tell you that Sri Lanka can and Sri Lanka will. There's no doubt about it. So if you are thinking about it, you should not think twice. You should come. And you should visit this beautiful island. And this is the time. Plenty to watch, plenty of opportunities.
And one thing we have seen today, there's a few vacant seats, but as the game's gone on, Sri Lanka are in a real contest here with Australia. The crowds come in. We've had wonderful crowds all series in the 2020 games. In the last 2 one-days, we've had sellout crowds, and once again we've got a magnificent crowd enjoying the cricket. Sri Lanka are playing a young team, an exciting team that are really enjoying this contest against Australia.
2 wickets lost so far. Warner was the first. Quick short delivery, was in control, top edge. To the hard stoppers, the man point flag, he made sure he caught it. And then Mitch Marsh deceived a little bit in the flight, driving rather loosely, and Velalage getting that wicket.
The wicket there, Mitch Marsh by Velalage. What we didn't see there was the 2 previous balls, the build-up in that dismissal there. Mitch Marsh had played a shot previous. The catch on the offside just short, but it was just that little bit extra bite, slower and wider, that suckered Mitch Marsh into the shot. And in the end, it was a very simple catch at short cover.
More spin at the far end. Jeffrey Van der See. Dragged down the wrong one from Van der See. They want a second. Happy with 1.
Twice in the last 2 overs, Marnus has looked for the second. He's been sent back by his captain, Aaron Finch. Been out there some time now. Aaron Finch has realised the Sri Lankans are keen in the field. Marnus just a little bit over-enthused.
The line he will want to bowl. Good pace as well, just 80 Ks around that off stump.
He's realised the keys just to slow it down a bit. The surface is hard to generate any pace, but since he slowed it down around 80, getting a bit of turn off the surface, there's a straight one there, and Finch played across the line. The inside edge, he's causing some trouble here to the Australians. That mid-on is up, which I like. He's trying to entice Australia to go over top, maybe bring a wicket and inside edge to that catch in mid-wicket.
The pace is bowled is just been little above 80 or a few notches under 80. Running repairs for umpire Lyndon Hannibal, I think. Very handy, aren't they, the umpires? They got the scissors, they got all the requirement. Well bowled. It's certainly nice tip from Van der See, turn as well. Found the outside edge.
Well bowled here from Van der See. Just look at this, little bit of puff out of the wicket, takes the outside edge. Well fielded though by Sri Lanka, keeping the pressure on the Australians.
Put him down, wasn't easy. He was wide. But Van der See found the outside edge. There was turn and bounce.
That's twice in 2 balls. Van der See's found the outside edge of Aaron Finch. This time he's gone back. The slip would have been just blinded for a second from the keeper. Would have been a great reflex catch, but Luck goes out to the Australians. They're the ones you need to take. In building pressure.
Inside edge. 77 for 2.
You look at this drop catch here, it's off the back foot. It's just moved late, but from a slip's point of view, he would have been blinded with the ball on the back foot. He would have been blinded by the keeper. And that's just a reflex catch there to first slip. Unlucky for Sri Lanka, but good for Australia. Aaron Finch is 39 not out now. As he said in the previous game, they need someone to go big in this top 3.
Well, they already started dancing in the aisles. It's a good crowd again, I'll tell you. Tandy was magnificent. And I couldn't agree more with HD when he said that it was Dasun Shanaka's innings that really got the imagination, caught the imagination and created that belief in the people to come in and support.
He created belief in everyone. The whole country was seeing the spectators, but also the Sri Lankan cricket team. After that innings from the captain, they started to believe, they started to think they can compete with this Australian team. And since then, they've probably had the better of the match play. He sent a wonderful innings in the first game from Glenn Maxwell, but apart from that, Sri Lanka have looked in control, put a lot of pressure on Australia with their presence, with how much they believe now they can beat this Australian cricket team.
Yeah, they certainly have that newfound confidence after that win and particularly beating Australia in that last game. And they're trusting themselves very hard, realizing Australia's status in the world stage, the world champions. And they're a team that is not easily dominated. We'll be talking about T20 though. That is a very good white ball team, Australia. In fact, they're good in every format. So that's why it makes it gives Sri Lanka so much more in terms of defeating Australia.
They're an up-and-coming team, Sri Lanka out there. They've got a lot of talent in the team, that they play their home conditions well. They've also got a new coach in Chris Silverwood, who they're getting used to his style. But what we've seen over the last couple of games is they're willing. They've got a great presence in the field. They're bowling well to their tactics. And they haven't been intimidated. And Shamira has a lot to do with that. I like the way he bowled last game. He's aggressive against the Australians. He used his short ball, but he used his pace as well, and he looked to get wickets, not just survive. He looked to get wickets and try to get the Australian batsmen out.
Drifting onto the pads from their singles. Australia hasn't really looked comfortable against spin, have they? The last 30 balls have realized just 16 runs, not a boundary for the last 6 overs. Last ball of the over. Again straight to the man at point. 2 runs off that over. 79 for 2. Those buildings have got progressively smaller. And the say continues.
Australia's job now, though, to weather this storm, keep building this partnership. Marnus' job is continue to keep the gaps, keep running hard between the wickets, build the total. They do bat deep, Australia. They have wickets in hand and people set. In the last 15 to 10 overs, that they can catch him with his bowling attack of Sri Lanka. But the one thing they haven't had in the previous games is someone set going into those last 10 overs to capitalize.
That's a big one. Finch was biding his time. Van der Sar tossing it up. And it's gone the distance. That releases the pressure, releases the frustration.
That's Aaron Finch's strength. He's a very strong bottom hand player. It's a first boundary. After 40 balls, he's picked the wrong one. Safe shot, mid-on was up. And you have to give Aaron Finch a sniff with the power he has. And as we said, that's a first boundary in 40 balls.
Mid-on continues to be inside the 30-yard circle. Shanaka looking to play that aggressive tone. They'll come back for two. Van der Sar just sliding down the leg side with his wrong.
Good sign there from the Australians, though. Aaron Finch is starting to pick the surface. He picked the wrong one. And that's a safe shot over mid-on. Someone with Finch's power. But he's starting to pick what the Sri Lankans are bowling at him now.
You spoke about a set batsman going into the last 10 overs. So at this stage, with about 20 more overs to go, Aaron Finch is in a perfect situation to do that. One of these two, obviously, Labuschagne or Aaron Finch, needs to bat that deep for Australia. Partnership of 41 or 56. 10 of the over. 89 for 2, 20 completed.
That's one thing Aaron Finch said at the end of last game, that they needed someone to be set there, and they need that top order to get that big 100, that big score, the Australians to bat around. And if we have a look at the batting card, Aaron Finch is on 49. Marnus Labuschagne's just starting to get into his innings now, 15 off 22 balls. But the key is these guys going on with it now, taking this game deep. Then you can use the power of Head, Carey, Maxwell at the end of the last 10.
3 4s and a 6 in his innings. It's a controlled inning from Aaron Finch.
One thing Aaron Finch does do, he's got a good conversion rate. He's got 1700s in this form of the game. One thing he does do is he does score them quick. Once he gets in, used to the surface, 49 off 66 balls. The longer he's there, we've seen last over, he's starting to get used to the Sri Lankan spinners. He picked the wrong one, started to place it over the top. All of a sudden, things started to free up a little bit.
Bit of pace from Chamika Karnaratne, replacing Velalage. Marnus on strike. Light pace on the ball, don't they? The ball coming onto the bat, they've just been knocking the ball into gaps.
It's an impressive spell from Velalage. 1 for 16 off his 6. He controlled the Australian batsman. He used the crease really well. He had subtle changes, the paces with his arms, his pace very did Mitchell Marsh in flight. But he looked a very clever cricketer. He's only young in age, but he looked like he had a lot of control, knew what he was trying to do. But the thing for me is the subtle variations in pace that threw Australia's rhythm out.
On 49. Well, he's got 1700, as you said. This will be his 30th half-century in ODI cricket. His third against Sri Lanka if he gets there. Again, mid-off, mid-on, inside the 30-yard circle. The drone climbing to some unbelievable heights, just showing you the outskirts of the R. Premadasa. In and around this area. This high line of Colombo. Yeah, that's his 50. His third against Sri Lanka, his 30th in ODI cricket. And as we said, he's got 1700s to go with it. Very good average, over 40. 5,300 runs in his career so far.
Real captain's knock so far here from Aaron Finch. Only a little raise of his bat there today. He realised the importance he has in his role today to take this game really deep. One thing Australians have been missing is someone to go on and get a big 100. We've seen a lot of start. We've seen some great hitting from Maxwell at the end. Just get someone like Aaron Finch to turn this 50 into a big 100. the pressure right back on the Sri Lanka batsmen later in the day.
Sri Lanka has the option of using spinners. They got 5 spinners with part-timers. They got the Asalankas, they got the Dhananjay De Silva. And that's the newly built motorway of Sri Lanka.
But the key for Australia to play these spinners well is having set batsmen. You see Sri Lanka are at their strength and they have a new batsman. That's why it's so important for these two to build a partnership, keep running well between the wickets. It's a different game. Once you're set against the spinners, you face a lot of different spin that get used to the surface. That's when you can cash in at the end. That's when Finch's power comes in. We know Marnus plays a spin well. He can sweep, reverse sweep, get off strike. But the key is having setbacks when they come back to their second spell.
So far they've done well, Australia. 46 of 62. Last ball of the over. Pace of the ball, bowling into the pitch. Karunaratne, only a single. 5 of it, 94 for 2.
Been a good partnership, this one, between Marnus Labuschagne and Aaron Finch. We need to take this a little bit deeper. Right, some more spin from Dhananjay De Silva. Hasn't bowled yet, off spinner. Viewed more as a part-timer in the spin quartet that normally Sri Lanka field. Got away with that, because that was not a good delivery.
You mentioned the partnership, HD. It's that time of the game where you have to be careful. Not try too many things, not search too much. From Australia's point of view, you're spot on. 48 of 64. Keep chugging along. Sri Lanka will soon feel, or even already, that they need a wicket. When they go searching for that wicket, those mistakes can come your way. It's still a grind. Keep pegging away. Don't give Australia anything. Make them look for it, and hence you'll get that opening. New batsman to follow. As Travis said, Alex, Carey, Chris Green, not a lot of experience in these conditions. It will be hard. Cameron Green, correction, not Chris Green. And that's the 50 partnership of 66 balls. And then things can change fast for you. It's about hanging in there at the moment.
Saw the difficulties in the previous one-day international with batters just walking to the wicket, how difficult it was to adjust to the playing surface.
De Silva was usually used earlier in the innings. The new ball in the power play, but today with Warner getting out and the right-handers following, it's been delayed. Carey, head, left-handers, but now forced into the attack because the partnership is becoming more assured. 100 on the board, and hence Dasun Shanak has to now try to change things around.
Yeah, the other issue I feel is that the seamers in Chamira And Jamira and Jamaica have only bowled 5 overs between them, 102. You know, they've only bowled those 5 overs between them. Malalaga's already bowled 6, Vandisay's already bowled 5, Tikshana's already bowled 5. And they've been the real threat. The spin has been the threat. Malalaga's looked very threatening with his left arm spin. Vandisay's got the ball to turn appreciably. Playing the sunshine for now. Heat. Sticky up.
Stop it. Don't jinx it. It's nice at the moment.
I'm just looking after myself by saying, for now.
Captain won the toss today. Aaron Finch been struggling for form coming into this series.
Not when it comes to the toss.
Yeah. Got 50s in the T20 internationals, but wasn't as fluent as we'd like it. But today it's a lot slower. But it's been controlled. His shots have been measured and very calmly put away.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to dial it back a little bit. You know he's an attacking player, but give yourself a chance. Not all the time can the conditions suit stroke play, and you need to adjust your game, and Finch has done that today.
And just what's required. Only a couple of chances, you'd say, came Sri Lanka's way. Slapped that, that'll be 4. That just set up nicely. Not all the time in the world.
Pulls well, minus Labuschagne. He's comfortable with that stroke, and the line of the short ball allows him to get the ball forward of square, just past mid-on's right hand. The line is outside off stump.
Call came from square leg. Well, there were a couple of edges earlier on from trying to say. One fell short of Dhananjay De Silva, but let's watch him. What does he do? He looks to go right, he looks to go left and then goes right. And the very next ball, he's looked to go right. And hence, a little slower in getting to that ball, which actually carried.
That's a lot of movement for a slip fielder. He doesn't, slip fielders need to be well balanced. That's neatly played. They need to be in a strong position on the balls at their feet so that they can push off either left or right. But Dhananjay De Silva actually looks as though he's moving while the ball's in the air. Just gets a fingertip to it.
Yeah, the moment he moves that left leg, the next movement has to be to his right. The left is not his strongest side either. And having to come back from his right foot delays him further. That was the only one that carried as well.
Wow, that's hit hard. That really is hit hard.
That was short, that was wide. So easily put away. This is what I meant. Finch is looking $1 million. It's not the usual Finch who's going around bashing it all over. But look at the positioning. Look at that head. Look at the base. He's quietly finding his form and confidence.
I feel this is what Australia should be looking at. Looking at that scoreboard and... oh, goodness me. I could have gone either way. And bear in mind, the line belongs to the umpire. I'll say this is what Australia should look at. You go through the bowling lineup and You know that spinners prove to be tough. There is some turn here. Van der Sar got quite a lot of turn, the leg spinner. But Shamika, this is only his third over. He's got a long way to go here. Desmanta Chimera has got 7 overs. So Seam has still got to bowl a lot of overs on the service. Dhananjaya de Silva may take up some of those.
We spoke of the fact that the short ball served Sri Lanka well in Kandy, but that was a different pitch at night. Slightly too paced. Here it just sits up to be slapped. 111 for 2.
From overs 10 to 20, there was spin on. See the drop in run rate with Australia, but they've rebuilt here through Labuschagne and Finch, and the introduction of Seam has seen a few runs scored. Still going to be Dhananjaya de Silva, the off spinner. With the turn that we've seen on the pitch, off the pitch, you think Australia will be looking at this thinking, Mitchell Swepson could have given him another game. We've got a whole heap of seamers in our side.
I would have thought so. I would have thought Swepson would get another go. Oh, he's missed out. That was a full toss. Mid-off in the circle, should have really done a lot more. Cameron Green comes in for him. They strengthen the batting. And he'll bowl seam up. Lots of cutters, I'd expect. That has also been effective. And Australia a little bit more comfortable when they can base their attack around the seamers, rather than a lot of spin. That's your default.
Sometimes teams make that error, don't they? They veer off what their strength is when they go to an opposing country and they feel, well, now we need to adjust. And I remember South Africa many years ago, sometimes would go in with no spinners and they got a lot of criticism. But their strength was always their seam, and their seam did well on the subcontinent in places like India and Sri Lanka.
Yeah, and Sri Lanka's point of view, a lot of spin-heavy cricket, and they're very comfortable when one spinner can block off one area, one end, and do the variations or changes from the other. Yeah, a lot of seam in 2006 when Sri Lanka played South Africa. 24 gone, 115 for 2. Yeah, back to spin from both ends. It's Jeffrey Van der Sar changing ends, going back to seam heavy bowler. You know, my thoughts only go to 2006. I think it was Maya and Sangha. Batted a couple of days after. Sri Lanka, South Africa, 6:24, I think.
I'm not sure that one was televised. I can't remember.
Oh yes, we only like to remember good things, don't we?
Who got those? Was that Mahela and Sanga? Well, they would have had to, because where were you batting? They would have had to get them all.
I was dropped already.
Two very fine players. Yep, go down as greats of the game. Mahela Jayawardene and Kumar Sangakkara. You're right, we've seen a very different Aaron Finch today. He's been happy to knock it around, and when there has been something loose, he does have the nous to be able to put it away for four, but understands his team need a big innings from him here. They're nearly halfway, but well placed with the amount of batting that they still have to come. Beautifully bowled, beautifully bowled. Wow! Turn and a handy bit of work from Dikwala.
Superb, simply superb, everything perfect about it. It's trying to lead to the fact of how important it is to continue, but that flight, Manas couldn't help himself. He needed a piece of it. Perfect in every sense from Van der Sar because of the drift in to the right-hander, the flight, the dip and the turn. 29 to Manas Lapskai, 116 for 3.
So it's Alex Carey that comes in at number 5. Still no Cam Green, but what a delivery this was from Jeffrey Van der Sar. Strike rate of 89. Good average of 34. Has played very well domestically. Gets his opportunity in the Australian side. Just settling in. But a beautiful delivery. It really was a good one.
And this is probably why you need a wrist spinner in your team. A wrist spinner is so crucial. He's got more variety. That's massive for Jeffrey Van der Sar because he needs a few wickets and something like this to up his confidence in and out of the team. Only playing today because no one in the Hasaranga, but if he can produce more balls like that, he'll play both of them. There you go, back to Swepson. Wrist spinner.
Just wrist spinners generally spin the ball more, don't they? Yes, they bowl the odd bad ball because of the difficulty of the art, but they really do get the ball to grip in the surface. And this fella likes to sweep both sides of the ground. Very comfortable. More comfortable, the feeling that he's more comfortable sweeping than he is actually playing up the ground.
As long as he doesn't have to run too much, I think he'll be all right. The second ODI, I just couldn't help ask myself, what are you doing? Where are you running?
It's such an important part of the game, running between the wickets, and if there's not a lot of trust between the two, we can see awful mix-ups. There's that drift. 25 gone, a successful over for Sri Lanka, 117 for 3. This tour's a big tour for Alex Carey. Australia has jumped around a little bit with their wicket keeping. You know, Tim Payne out of the setup now, and
Carey gets his opportunity, but there is a Josh Inglis waiting in the wings who has done so well in T20 cricket, and the talk is that he's an exceptionally good gloveman. And I feel this is a big tour for Alex Carey. Dhananjaya De Silva gets an opportunity to bowl at the left-handed Carey. Now this is Dasan Shanaka was trying to hold him back. He preferred him to bowl to the left-handers.
Interesting position. Kusal Mendis. Oh, he's changing it now. That awkward position to stop him playing the reverse sweep. But he's gone back to a conventional slip now.